What's up, everybody? Happy Valentine's Day afternoon.
Whoop, whoop.
It's our Perrysburg Pulse podcast, and we've got a special guest for you here on this Valentine, and it is Christine Best. Hi,
Hey.
Christine. How are you?
I am fantabulosa. How are you doing, Andrew Z?
Good. Good. Now, Christine is the new Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director, and that's in, of course, PERRYSBURG. So congratulations on the new gig.
Hey, thanks. It's an amazing program. A lot of people don't know about us, and I think that's kind of why I was super excited that you said you wanted to chat a little bit, Andrew Z, and kind of catch people up on what the heck. It's been around for 25 years. We actually have our 25th birthday on March 21st this year.
It's funny. It's funny because I was at Great Lakes Rentals, which is in Perrysburg, and doing some business there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Rob, the owner, and they're expanding and moving into a new building. And he said, he likes the building they're in, but he wanted more road exposure. So he's going to go out on the road, and a spot out on the road. And I said, hey, have you talked to Convention Visitors Bureau? He goes, no, what's that?
Right.
And I tell him, I said, because you guys help pretty much any business. You help them succeed, correct?
Exactly. Well, and the biggest thing is, we want to show Perrysburg to the world for the gem that it is, right? There are so many awesome attractions and accommodations and really cool things for families to do. And for us, it's a great partnership we have with the Chamber of Commerce too. So the previous executive director used to also be the executive director for the chamber. She had a dual role. And when she retired, they split those two up because we do have two different missions, and it's good to have those be separate. We have two different boards that direct us and everything as well. So my focus is on that tourism aspect, and that also goes hand in hand with the economic development because you can't have one without the other. So for me, it's about getting the word out. I did a couple of interviews, and people were like, "What does CVB stand for?" And so I said, well, the easiest way to put it is just visit Perrysburg. That's basically, and that's our website address, easy, visitperrysburg.com. So it makes it easy for people to understand right off the bat what we do. And it's to get people to come here and the people that are here to enjoy their community, because it's such an awesome place, isn't it, New Jersey? It's just a great community. No,
it really is. And so your job is to bring people that don't live in Perrysburg in to visit Perrysburg and help out the businesses. And now there's some of the traditional ways. You got the farmers market,
right?
You got Harrison Rally Days. What is that called now? I don't even know.
Well, Rally Day is actually under the chamber, and so I know, and who knows what it's called, but it's still. And Tim is my counterpart, so Tim and I share an office on Indiana, right there by Lamplight, and his job has been that focus of redirection as well. So it's that branding and that identifying what we do and which department you can talk to, but we're the same phone number. So when you call, it'll tell you, hey, you want to talk to the chamber, press 1. You want to talk to the CVB, press 2. And that really helps drive the conversation for people to really understand who they're supposed to be chatting with. But for me, I didn't know that the CVB pays for the city of Perrysburg's portion of the fireworks. I had no idea. Yeah, no, I didn't know. We partner with the city of Maumee. And then the Convention and Visitors Bureau pays for the side that Perrysburg sees. That's what I joke about it. So like firework goes up, we pay for the north looking side, and they pay for the south view.
Do we get the good halves of the fireworks, or do we get the discounted half?
I think we get the good side, don't you? I mean, that's a pretty good show.
No,
it's going to be a little bit bigger this year, which is nice. We have a little bit more in the budget to pay for that. So it'll be a little bit bigger event as well. But so we do the fireworks. We do.
What about turning that into a festival, Christine, with some bouncy houses and some food trucks and maybe something like that, maybe starting to expand it in that way to keep people in town longer?
100%. Yeah. I think that the thing that might be missing from our event lineup right now are those overnight stays tying in with the event, because we are funded by the bed tax. I don't know if you know much about what Convention and Visitors Bureaus do. So there's something in the directives, I think it's the Ohio Revised Code, that if your municipality takes in a bed tax, the city or the municipality is allowed to keep up to 50% of that bed tax, and the other 50% has to go into a community promoting organization or an entity like us. So our job really is about the enjoyment of Perrysburg as a whole, with emphasis on an overnight stay, because that's what really helps fund us. But yeah, so we do the fireworks. We do. Have you been out to the sculpture walk yet?
Yes, I think it's really cool out on 790, well, 795. I don't know what
Yeah,
street
on
it is.
Woodlands Park. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, right.
But there's also one that's just out there by himself in Milestone Park. That park is the size of a postage stamp, but it's right there on Route 20.
Oh,
And he and his counterpart, which is up on top of the building, right by Inside the Five downtown.
mhm.
They're all part of that same sculpture walk. The CVB funds that. And like you said, farmers market, that includes food trucks, that includes the music at the market. All of those things are under our umbrella. And I don't know if you've heard of this yet.
What?
Do you know what the Great Race is? Have you ever heard of the Great Race?
No, what is the Great Race?
Okay, so the easiest way to describe it, if you've ever seen the movie The Cannonball Run, I think let's say Burt Reynolds, it's like a legal version of that. So it
Oh,
is a race across many, many states, United States. They have huge funding. They have like placards and logos all over the place. But it's these travel clubs. It's sponsored by Haggerty's Drivers Club, and then they get these big sponsorships like Hemmings and those kinds of organizations. And these 120 racers have 17 stops from, they go in Rhode Island this year all the way across to North Dakota, and Perrysburg is one of the overnight stops.
oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I know, it's so cool. So
That's really big.
we're doing a pit stop party, and you're invited.
Oh,
Um,
I can't wait.
yeah, I know. I'm excited too. It's going to have, we'll have all of the racers will come in for the night. They'll get clocked for their time right there at the tracks on 3rd Street. We're closing down the whole downtown. Restaurants and businesses will still be open for business, but we're going to be keeping those, the driving path safe for everyone. So the streets will be closed.
Mhm.
We're bringing in, there's going to be a kid zone with those bouncy houses and inflatables. Yark Auto is helping us sponsor that. We're doing face painting and all that fun stuff. We're having live music. Rick Ruffner, who does our local Friday night car shows, is actually doing a special car show that night. So it's going to be on June 21st, and it's a Tuesday, which is a kind of weird time frame for a big party, but that makes it even more fun. I think you can take off work and come up. It goes from
Right.
4:30 to 8:30. So it's going to be a big thing, and you can meet the racers and check out their cars. The vehicles that are in that race, Andrew Z, all are from 1974 or older. So
Ooh,
they've got some
when
fun clunkers, and yeah, you got to check it out.
is it?
The race actually is in the second week of June. They will
Okay.
be stopping in Perrysburg on June 21st. It's a
How
Tuesday.
cool. Okay, so the bed tax, I'm guessing, is the hotel beds, is what you mean, right? When someone
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, bed tax from the hotels. Yep.
Okay, so when someone purchases a hotel room, there's 13% tax or whatever it is, and you guys get half of that tax that's just for the bed, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And in Perrysburg, it's a little lower rate. Toledo
Okay.
has a little bit higher rate, but yeah, that is it's collected by the city, but then the city, if they collect that tax, not all municipalities have to collect a bed tax,
Right.
but if you are collecting one of those revised codes, I can't remember which one, states you can only keep up to half for the city, that the municipality where those beds are. And if not, the other half has to go to either a community promoting group, like an outreach of like a CVB, or a partnership with a nonprofit. We're a 501c6, so we're a private corporation that just happens to have funding pulled in from that bed tax. Yep.
Okay, and then so your goal then is to keep people in town, preferably, or bring visitors to town, preferably have them stay overnight. Are there any really considered overnight events right now in Perrysburg?
Well, there's a lot of conferences. You'd be surprised.
Okay.
A lot of conferences, conventions.
Mhm,
Solheim Cup drew direct light on the
mhm,
fact that our community, especially the full region of Northwest Ohio, could manage a huge event like that.
mhm.
And so we got to see it firsthand with the folks that were staying at Levis, the folks that were staying over at the Holiday Inn, because there's 13 places to stay in Perrysburg.
Wow. So,
So
and I'm guessing you're regional, because I know a lot of people stay at Levis when if they're at the Huntington, if they're performing at the Huntington Center, or
right.
teams come to town. A lot of times they'll stay at Levis. So do you work hand in hand with Toledo, or are you kind of competing against them to get them to stay here?
That's a little bit of both, actually. It's a
Mhm,
good point you're making. There's enough economic growth, obviously, to go around to
mhm.
everyone. Destination Toledo is a resource for us. And they are what the CVB in Perrysburg will aspire to be like, because they've got their fingers in everything. I mean, they can
Mhm.
bring in the promoters, they can bring in the big overnight, like a whole weekend event. They can do those kinds of things, and we haven't really tapped into that yet as a city. Like you were saying, wouldn't it be cool to make the 4th of July fireworks? It's actually July 3rd, but the 3rd
Mhm.
of July fireworks, make that an event. Heck yeah.
Mhm. Right.
That makes sense to me.
And then another one, like I remember when we did when I had the place at Levis, when we did the concert, it was a 2-day concert.
Right.
So, something like that, those are kind of events, I'm not saying that, but those are the type of events where you can get them to stay a night, then it benefits everybody, because then they're eating at the restaurants. Not only are they eating lunch, they're going to eat dinner, they're going to eat breakfast, they're going to
They're
do
gonna
some
shop a little bit
shopping.
when they have
Yeah,
time. Yeah, there's
right.
a lot of things that make it worthwhile for people. And Perrysburg being, I don't know, someone called it the Golden Triangle, but I don't know if that's an actual phrase or they just made that up. But it's where 80 and 90 and 75 and 475. I mean, we are right there with all those main
I
arteries
know.
for traffic's sake. I mean, you can hop on. We could be um, part of a week long tour that someone, maybe they get on a bus tour in Vegas and they come through on their way to New York. We could be that wayfinding point, or
Right.
maybe they're even closer to home and they're just going up to Chicago. Perrysburg could accommodate an overnight stay and show them, we got really cool things with the War of 1812 that we can show people. And
Mhm.
if you love history, if you love sports, if you love water, and we've got the 577, there's a lot of things for nature lovers to do in our community. And so, my office's job is basically to know all of those things, right? So that I can, when
Yeah.
I get an inquiry, people can say, "Hey, what can we do when we come?" And I can say, "What do you like to do?" And I can give them a customized list of things that are available to us, and hopefully tie those in with an overnight stay then too.
It seems like, because I live right by there, that there could be more done with the fort, Fort Meigs itself, the fort.
Right.
Um, because I mean, I don't know. It seems like there's not a lot going on there. Is that in your purview?
It is actually, that's all of that is in what we're hoping to do. They have a great organization there, and
Mhm.
funding the way it is, and staffing the way it is. Sometimes those kinds of programs might not get fully off the ground or get to fully embrace what they have to offer just because of those restrictions.
Mm.
And so hopefully an organization like mine in any community that has something as cool as that can step in and help. But they're the largest reconstructed wooden fort in the US. There's nobody bigger. How cool is that we can go
It's
out there and see reenactments and
Oh,
stuff, you know?
it's really cool. And then just as you dip into the story,
Mhm.
of the importance of that when it comes to us in Detroit, and just and Michigan. I mean, I know there was a fight for Michigan and Ohio, like who was going to get this territory
Right.
out there. So there's just so much cool. There's so many cool stories that just ways to reinvent. So people need to realize how cool it is.
Well, yeah.
It is a
Yeah,
cool
and
thing.
there's this whole thing with what when they were expanding the United States, when they were going and they were expanding the Northwest Territories, we were at the center of that. Perrysburg was
Oh, wow.
right in the middle of the Treaty of Greenville, and all of the things that happened historically
Mhm.
during that time period could be found within like a 15-mile radius of us. And sometimes we were the heart of it. And that's the perfect example is the battle, the border battle. And
Mhm.
sometimes people joke and say, well, Michigan got the better deal because they got the UP out of that, but we got Toledo. So, and I'll take it though, because there's amazing things going on in Toledo too. But,
Absolutely.
to be part of a community that has such a rich history, that most people that might be commuters or they might just have moved into the area, they don't know it. And
Right.
so how we can tap into that with people and say, hey, what
Mhm.
kind of a what kind of a group do you have coming? Oh, you like art? Guess what? We've got two walkable exhibits right now on display within our city limits. That's unheard of. That
Right.
we support art that strong in our community. We have a symphony orchestra that is phenomenal. Our schools obviously are such a great component in driving more interest to our community for people to live. And so now we want to complement that with what can you do while you're here, and what should you know about your community that you're hopefully going to grow to love as much as the rest of us do.
And what's your relationship with Rossford, with Route 20 being right there, and it's kind of being the border between Perrysburg and Rossford? Do you work well with them? Do you work with them at all? Maybe that's a bad question. Uh-oh, I think we lost Christine. We lost her a couple seconds ago, too. Let's see if she comes back. There you go. You're back. We're talking to Christine Best. She's the brand new Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director for Perrysburg. You hear me, Christine? We'll give her a couple seconds. We're talking about what the Convention and Visitors Bureau does, and the website is Visit Perrysburg, and how they're funded and all the things they do. Like I said, and she was saying a lot of people didn't even know that the organization existed or what all it did, including paying for the fireworks or the Perrysburg half of the fireworks on the 4th of July. So we'll wait for Christine, see if she can come back on. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, we can edit this out. But if you're watching it live, then we're kind of stuck for a minute. But I will say, the Perrysburg Pulse podcast is our second. Man, I hear her trying. It sounds like she's trying to connect the microphone again or something, maybe a short in it or something. Let's see. I am messaging with her. Let's see. All right, she's jumping out. We're going to see if we can get her back in the room. Anyway, what I was saying was Perrysburg Pulse is our second podcast. All things Perrysburg we hope to talk about and cover. And our first episode was with Tom Hostler, the superintendent of schools for the city of Perrysburg. So if you get a chance, check that one out as well. And this is our second one. All right, we're going to try this one more time.
Hey.
Hi, there you are.
Oh my gosh. There are some days when technology is your friend.
I know. Believe me. Okay, so I was talking about the relationship with you and Rossford, since you guys have that border, the highway border kind of.
Right.
Do you have a relationship with them? Do you work with them at all, or is everyone kind of do their own thing?
100%. So Beth is the Rossford counterpart of me. And we work very closely together on, there might be something that they need our help with or we need their help with. I didn't know that Bass Pro Shop does behind the scene tours.
Oh,
how
wow.
cool is that, right?
That's really...
And she's got a lot of hotels that are right there at 795 where people getting off at Perrysburg, right. They would think that that's a Perrysburg hotel, and it's not. Okay. And so we want to put a great show on for whoever comes to Northwest Ohio. So there might be times when I can help her with some things, tie her in with some stuff at the fort, or tie her in with some experiences for shopping in the downtown. Or, if there's an overnight stay that might need the entertainment district at Levis, I can help her with that. But there's an organization I didn't know existed till I started this job. It's called Visit Northwest Ohio, and it actually pulls together all of those groups. So there's 12 of us that belong to that. And just this Friday alone, we're going to Sandusky County to go explore what they have to offer. So we as an organization and as a city can go to these other places and see, well, how do you promote your downtown? How do you promote your shopping district? How do you promote your events? And then, we kind of spitball and throw ideas back and forth. And we all take a turn promoting on the social media pages for Visit Northwest Ohio. So we all have a voice there as well. And of course, Destination Toledo is the big chairperson for that. So we've got a lot of resources at our disposal. Sauter Village, there are really nice people over there too. And, there's times when people might want to go there, but need a place to stay and like the idea of staying in our town. So if we can help each other, it's all about communicating and that resource, knowing what each other has, so we can maybe get the right fit for people.
Levis Commons is a big piece of Perrysburg, or the Perrysburg puzzle, obviously. You know it well because you were that's where you came from. Give
Right.
give us your overall on how Levis is doing.
It's coming back. I know that with the growth that's happening with the Harmon Group and the 80,000 square feet they're putting in right there between the Hill Partners parcel and the entertainment district, that's a huge building. I actually got to be on your show to talk about that a while ago. So
Yeah, and for those who don't know, there's two different owners of the property. So the main street basically, and the shops there are one owner, and then once you get to the waterfall back and kind of the outer layers of Levis Commons is another owner, correct?
Right. Actually, there's multiple owners. Yeah.
Multiple.
So, and they're kind of governed by, they call it the Levis Commons Owners Association. And
Okay.
each one of them that has a piece of property has a seat at that table. So they can bounce ideas. But the town center, which everyone knows around the fountain,
Mhm.
that represents the full property on media. So anything social media on the website, anything like that, that organization maintains the inventory, so to speak, of the directories for that. So they're the ones that make the brochures. They're the ones that you see when there's commercials on TV. That's where that money goes towards promoting the property as a whole. Because and when I was there, I used to joke that, and what's good for me is good for them, because they're going to drive right past my tenants to get to Benchmark, right? So
Right.
and Benchmark, the people are fantastic there, and so they want to partner with the other owners. And the same thing goes for the section where Flying Joe is. That's owned by another property owner, as
Mhm.
well as where Salvatore Capelli is. That's a different property owner. And then Tea Tree, they own their own property, so they're part of that group as well. But yeah, the hotels are owned separately too. So there's quite a few players at that, but it's coming back, Andrew Z. I think
I was
there's
just gonna say, as you said,
good
it is
growth.
coming back. Yeah, it is. There's new restaurants going in over
Yep.
there, and in that big the big Danbury plazas going in there
Right,
where
with Saba Homes. Yep, Danbury and Saba
yeah,
Homes. Yep.
yeah,
They're going to do some good things on that side of the property. And there's still some parcels that are open. There's still some vacant spaces out there too. So, there's always an opportunity to, entice the right business to come and plant the flag there and help them grow their business. And what I used to say when I was at Levis, and it rings true with what I'm doing now as well, is if you like something in our community, you have to support it or it won't stick around. Right. So
amen,
if you're
amen.
preaching to the choir, but
Yes.
if you don't, if you want to complain, or you want to, oh, well, I wish we had one of these, or why can't we get one of these? Well,
Mhm.
when's the last time you supported someone within that section? Are you still shopping local? We hope so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good businesses that give back to our community. Walt Churchill's a perfect example of that. That generous soul has given so much to our community, and what a fantastic guy. He's just the sweetest thing.
Mhm.
And if it costs you 30 cents more to buy your coffee creamer there than it would if you bought it at a chain, you know what? That's worth the 30 cents, because it's coming back to you in spades when he gives millions of dollars to our schools. Or he will answer his door and sign up for any fundraiser. Don't send your kids to his house. He's going to get really mad at me for saying that. But
Right, right.
there's that kind of community spirit.
Well,
And
and
if you're not going to shop there, you can't complain if the place closes up.
and it's such a hometown feel as
Yeah.
well, and the people are nice, and they're bagging your groceries still, and they're just it's a great place to shop. And like you said, for a few more cents here or there, we don't want to forget that, because we don't want to lose it.
Right. And, there is a place for the nationals. Obviously, there is a place for the chains and that type of thing. That does continue to foster growth in the community. But at the same time, we've got these small moms and pop shops that need the help. And, why not spread the love a little bit? You can't complain if you're not part of the solution. I say you can have an opinion, but it should also come with some feet that are willing to move into action
Yeah.
to make it happen. And
It's like you tell someone, it's like, you bring up a place, they're like, I love that place. And you don't want to ask the follow-up, but the follow-up is, when's the last time you went there? Oh, it's been a while. Well, no, don't make it a while. Go there.
right, right. And
If
if
you
you're
love
going to
it,
spend
go
that
there.
money, some people might be on budgets and that's just not in their
Sure.
wheelhouse to spend money, out on dinner once a week or whatever the case is. But when you do, it's great if you can share the love locally and help. And some of our national businesses, I think people kind of forget this too with franchises as well. Those are owned by people that live in our community,
Mhm.
so you are still helping a local person when you're shopping at those places and dining at those places. But you can't complain if you're not willing to keep your money local, and that helps the growth, obviously, because the more we can show to those bigger brands, everybody always talks about Trader Joe's. Oh dear Lord.
Mhm.
And okay, why can't we get a Trader Joe's? Well, you can do some action work on that. You can actually reach out to them directly and say,
Mhm.
when is the time you're going to be developing in our community? We've got a really great household income here, an average that might be well with, you might want to look into us.
Mhm.
And that also goes hand in hand with the cities. So when the city is looking for these places and they're reaching out to us and saying, hey, what kind of demographics do you have? We've got some legitimate numbers to show 'em because we have grown so much. It is a small town feel, but it's got a lot of big city amenities. So,
Christine, what about what events, since you're new into the position, would you like to see in Perrysburg that you see a hole for that Perrysburg doesn't have right now?
oh, I've got a bunch.
Do
I've
you?
got a bunch. And I hate to say them because then what happens if nothing happens with them?
I know.
It's like, oh,
Well,
I put it out
okay,
there.
a wish list. If you were the king of queen of Perrysburg, and that thou shall say this is coming this year. What would those be? Because obviously, if they don't come to fruition, it's okay because you're not the queen of Perrysburg.
Right. Well,
But
as my husband, he will tell you that he has to call me that actually, Queen Christine. But no, there is a lot of room for music concerts. I would
yeah.
love to see. I've got a couple of things in my back pocket, but I would love to see something. We're a waterfront property. We're a waterfront community,
Mhm.
and we don't really do anything to feature that.
No.
I think that there's something to be said for that. I love the idea of tying in some sporting events or some, we've got a lot of kids that are in tournaments and they travel all over God's green acre for soccer or for
Mhm.
lacrosse or for baseball, but we don't tap into that in Perrysburg. And those would be overnight stays, obviously. But to do
Mhm.
something with kayaking or to do something with bike trails or running, those folks are diligent about traveling to get these really cool medals when they're in that running world. I don't
Mhm.
run unless, I absolutely have
Being
to.
paid.
Yeah, I just can't do it. I'm just too old, I guess, and I
Right.
lost my mojo.
I
But
know. I hear you.
there's something we have in our history, some things that could be really cool to educate and entertain and entice. So you've got a kayaking event that might replicate when one of the founding families had to flee Perrysburg because of the British when that war was going, and they got in a canoe and they went to Lake Erie. How cool would that be to
Oh,
replicate something like that and do,
yes.
yeah, and do like a kayak or a canoe run,
Cool.
we have the biggest, I think it's the biggest walleye surge in like, I don't even
Mhm.
know if it's a country, but it's one of the largest. Why aren't we tapping into that?
Yeah.
So there's things like that a little bit of education might get me some more volunteers
Mm.
to be able to put more of that kind of stuff on. But those types of things, and they've got to be based in family, right? It really needs to be something where when you're coming, you feel welcomed. You feel like you should want to bring your family along and bring your dog along. Cats don't travel well usually, but you can bring your pets along. But there is something to that, and we have a great art scene. We have a great music scene. Northwest Ohio is just ripe for some kind of a huge festival. I was almost going to say hootenanny. Wouldn't that have been funny to call it the hootenanny? But
Yes.
we're big into bluegrass. There's a big
Mm.
undercurrent of bluegrass in our community. It'd be kind of cool to tap into that somehow.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've got a whole bunch of them. You just have to
Wow.
wait. You just have to wait.
Okay, so picking a couple of those, like maybe a couple of implementing a couple of those, are we going to see them in 2022? Anything, or are we really looking at 2023? I don't know how far ahead. I know you have to plan pretty far ahead as a governmental organization or whatever. So are we going to see any of this new stuff in 2022?
Well, there is one that's going to be happening, and I don't want to jinx it, but we're trying to pull together with the chamber and the restaurants. I'm going to put a little asterisk on this. The restaurants have not been approached by this yet, so this is kind of breaking news.
Okay,
So, woo, look at us!
I
But
know.
look at this. But there is an opportunity for us to capitalize. Of course, the downtown restaurant does it when they call themselves Perry's Burgers. But we were talking about doing like they do the Restaurant Week Toledo, like they do with the coffee
Mhm.
run and the ale trails, those kinds of food friendly events,
Mhm.
is to do a Perry's Burger week, where these restaurants can have, they build their own burger and it's special just for that week and it's $5. And then you want a side dish that's separate, you want a drink that's separate, but we're going to promote the community with the fun play on the word Perrysburg. And something like that can come together fairly quickly if we have the right resources.
Mhm.
So if we were going to get to do that, that would probably be in September or October of this year. But you're right, those are the other big things, like my grandiose plan.
Mhm.
Those take a couple of years to organize, and
Right.
so we're looking at 2023 for one or two different changes to our lineup, and then 2024 would be that's we have an eclipse coming, right? Did you know about that?
No.
What? How do you not
You
know?
did I
The
don't
sky is
know.
falling.
What?
Well, let me tell you,
Uh-huh.
April 8th of 2024 is one of the last solar eclipses that we'll have for at least another 40 years. And we
Mm.
are in the path of that. And I guess
Oh,
there is a huge following, like
that's
a cult
awesome.
following for it. And so we're looking forward to doing some partnerships with, um, the area conservatories and planetariums, and maybe pulling together some cool educational pieces, but making that a fun community event. I think we get a minute 21, I want to say. Don't quote me on that.
Mhm.
Of darkness during
Mhm.
that time. And since we're kind of in the path, people will want to come and stay. So why not make it a fun event for the community too?
Yeah,
And do those specials, the special named drinks and the special,
right.
dinner things and that kind of stuff at the
The
restaurants, and have
community
the,
involved.
and tie it into the community, but make it a fun thing, because it won't be back around probably in my lifetime. I'm getting too old to stick around for another one, but
I know, right? 40 years.
so there's some opportunities like that. But that 2024 piece, I went to the travel showcase, which is sponsored by Heartland, and it was in Cleveland just a little while ago.
Mhm.
And it's where organizations like mine can come together with those bus operators and
Mhm.
those tour guides and
Mhm.
those people that want to bring the large groups into your community for whatever, however long that might be, for whatever the experience might be.
Mhm.
And we were talking about if they're going to be able to book with me, because I was new to the seat. We had never been represented at that showcase
Oh, wow.
before. So for us, they're like, "Where the heck is Perrysburg?" And then I got out my map and I showed everyone. So, but there's something to be said for the planning part of that. Most of them are already into 2024 for their booking of those group experiences. So, fortunately, that gives me a little bit of time to get my legs underneath me. You know,
Right.
and get to
Right.
learn more about the program and what Perrysburg really has to offer that might be unique. That's what sets us apart, right? So,
Right. Absolutely.
yeah.
And okay, so as far as, do you see a great opportunity here for growth? Is it going to be easy to do? Like where are you at now? Are we growing as far as visitors? Or are you having to, is it a hard pull?
I don't think it's a hard pull. I would say the biggest challenge is that people just don't know.
Right.
So the biggest part
The
of
word.
that is the awareness piece,
Mhm.
and the branding, and the identifying with what we have, what we can offer, and then making it a customizable experience. We have Garlic Expressions is based out of Perrysburg, and Marcia's Buckeyes is
Buckeyes, I
based.
was just gonna say that.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it was funny because during the travel showcase, I actually gave those away to the operators that made appointments with me. And for the people that didn't make appointments because I was a new kid, I had the new
Mhm.
car smell. They were like, "Oh, baby bird,
Right.
you've never been here before." So, for the people that didn't take a chance on scheduling a one-to-one with me,
Uh-huh.
they didn't get them, and then they saw everybody else that did, and then all of a sudden I became like the belle of the ball. Everyone wanted my freebies. But working with them on what kind of experience we can. I was trying to pitch a corkscrews and chocolate event, or
Mhm.
a chocolate and coffee event where people could come tour, where what we have tons of amazing coffee shops in Perrysburg,
Mhm.
and then partner that with maybe Taste of Heaven out at Levis and Marsh's Buckeyes, and let them see how chocolates are made. They could even get to take some of that home with them. Those things that make us unique, because anyone can go anywhere with a cookie cutter, but if you have something that is unique to you, I think that's where, especially after 2020, people, they kind of wanted to get back in the world of things, and they realized that those experiences are what make us special, and why not take advantage of that? So to focus our energies on the things that we have that other places don't.
Is it more of a challenge now with kids being on their phones and just wanting to watch TikTok and is it more of a challenge to get like Fort Megs to get energized or art walks and things like that? Is it more of a challenge? Is it easier? Is it just the same? What do you think? Like, how do you inspire these kids now that just want to sit at home and on their phones?
Challenge accepted. So for me, that is a perfect example of integration. So we have these live in-person experiences, and I know you've seen them when people are taking pictures during an event, or they're recording an event instead of actually being present for the
Yeah.
event. So to me, why not integrate them, and why not make it where, hey kids, you're coming to this, we're going to do a TikTok challenge while you're touring. We're going to give you these live posts. We're going to give you these opportunities to make, these different reels or video feeds, and make it part of, because that's their language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it or not,
Yep.
that's where they live. And if we're talking to a family experience, mom and dad want the kids to be happy, obviously, too, but it needs to speak to all of them on the level that they are. So why not customize the experience to where those kids live? And if they're on their phones, let's get them so at least they look up every once in a while by giving them a project to do while they're there. And that could include their phone, or it could be something completely remiss, like, oh, guess what? We're going to put all of our phones in this basket when you
Right.
enter, right?
I
And
know.
you're gonna probably go through withdrawal within the first 5 minutes, but it will be okay. You will get chocolate at the end,
There
or something
there
like that.
are times where, like, we're driving, I'm like, "No, you're not taking your phones," and they will freak out, and I'm like, "I don't care. I just don't care. You're not." And it's been once they cry and whine and complain about it, and they get used to it, which usually happens within the first half hour, an hour or so, it's actually so much more pleasant to not have them on their phones and actually engage a little
Yeah,
bit.
suffer through the drama at the beginning so you can get to the
Right.
good stuff. But, and
No.
that's where maybe tying in a piece of technology in with the, I'm going to call
Mm.
it the old timey exhibits, but oh, who wants to go to the fort? That's a bunch of dead people and old stuff they
Right.
dug up. Well, there
Yeah.
could be something really cool that we could integrate.
Mhm.
Like the sculpture walk, it's just beginning to tap into it. So there's
Mm.
a QR code where you can scan it and you can learn more about the artist and you can learn more about the piece. But to take it to that next step and have, a sign where it's like, hey, when you're here, we want you to take a picture and try and capture this light, or try and do this with your phone. And that helps not only the kid, maybe he's coming a little bit out of that shell. We're not yanking it off of, "Like, sorry, you're not going to get to be on your phone at all," but
Right.
kind of baby steps out of it. But then
Mhm.
it gives us the opportunity to see those things on social media, and they can tag us, and we can do giveaways to encourage those tags, and then we can build an image library around what these people are experiencing when they come to our town. We ask them to tag where they were. Hey, tag your location so we can see where you were in town, and do the technological fun stuff with geofencing and all of that to see where these people went, and then the reviews to make sure that if they enjoyed the experience, they post it online.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well,
Lots to do.
oh my God, there's so much, and it's super exciting. And everywhere you go, we know. I mean, you're already growing out of schools that are brand new. I mean, the
Yeah.
city is growing so quickly, and there's so much great stuff being built all the time. It's on its way up. There's no doubt about it, and it's already at a great spot. So on its
Right.
way up I mean, the future looks good for the city for sure.
I agree. I agree. And there's obviously always room for improvement, but that comes
Mhm.
with that communication piece, and it comes with, making where people feel comfortable speaking up. And, obviously we hear a lot of naysays, but it's also letting the people that have something positive shine too. We have an amazing community, and just, reminding people that there might be some problems, but we're all working towards the same goal. My phrase, and I think it actually got picked up with one of the bigger publications when I first started. I said, it's just to do things with grace, because we're all just walking each other home.
Mm.
At the end of the day, we're all just walking each other home. So if we can make it a great experience, you might have the boohoo moments or the naysay moments, but to make sure you're balancing that with what good can come of it, and what good you could give if you just gave it an extra minute. So you want to have a complaint, that's great, but please come with a solution as well.
Right? Don't just complain all the time.
Yeah, that's that I think that person was called Ebenezer Scrooge, and
Right.
look what it took to get him back on track, right?
I
So,
know.
but there's
Paranormal.
that's about community. That's just about, embracing Perrysburg for, the flaws and the beauty, you know.
Are you looking for volunteers to help you with events and things like that? Or
All the time.
really? Okay, okay. Good.
Yeah, I
No.
actually have this weekend. God bless the Perrysburg Student Council and the Key Club. They are always so amazing because they need their service hours.
Uh-huh.
I latched onto them and held on for dear life at Levis. They were a lifeblood for me at Levis Commons, and being only me in this role, I don't even have that secondary group like I did at Levis to
Right.
lean on.
Yeah.
I'm desperate for the volunteers, and and the people that need those service hours, I can find a way to push it to work. And the folks that are coming this weekend, they get to help me with coordinating goodie bags, because we get a lot of requests for people that are coming in for conferences. They might be small ones. It might be a 40 or a 50-person conference, and they're coming for a 3 or 4 days, but they want to see maps and they want to see the things in the community to do. And
Sure.
so the CVB didn't have any of that stuff previously. They would rely on Levis to give it to them or the city to give it to them. And so the CVB is creating one. Right now it's on my computer at home. It's in second draft mode, and it's going to give, the highlights of the community.
Oh, great.
And so that they're going to get to help me stuff these goodie bags for the next group of people that are coming in next week, out at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites out at Levis. So they're having it's a 25th anniversary for their organization. I want to say it's a couples retreat, for like a engagement and marriage encounter organization. So they're going to be coming, and we're going to give them those goodie bags, and we get those kind of requests a lot. So in order to maintain that inventory takes quite a bit, and then also to be able to have them ready for people will take quite a bit too. So
Is there a
always
point
looking for volunteers.
is there a point too where maybe all the hotels can have those bags? So when someone checks in, they get one of these bags too, no matter who it is, and then it's got a list of the restaurants and places to
Right.
go and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Maybe
baby steps on
down
that
the
one
road.
though. So
Yeah,
what
down the
we're
road.
hoping to do is within the next few weeks is get all of the hotels their own inventory of a brochure that
Mhm.
speaks specifically to the whole city.
Okay.
And then all of the hotels so far, I've only not heard back from one, are willing to put them in the rooms when they clean. So
Mm,
you won't even have to ask for it at the desk. It will be there.
great.
Remember how you used to go to a hotel and there'd be like all that stuff in your room to read?
Yes.
COVID kind of killed that, right?
Honestly, that's the only way I would know to go any place or do anything. And when I go to when we get into a hotel, is buy those things that we would look for those in the hotels all the time.
Yep, and so that's where we're hoping to give people the outreach knowledge of what is just a couple of feet away, or if you're willing to get in your car but stay within the city limits, or in we even have a piece right now. The website's getting rebuilt, but if you go to visit perrysburg.com, that poor guy hasn't been touched. I want to say 2018 was last time it was updated. I'm not kidding. But it's going to get rebuilt, and hopefully that'll get launched by farmers market time, so people can really use that as a resource for the community to have a community calendar on there as well, so organizations can actually upload, hey, Zor Church is having a bake sale, and that can go on that, so we become a resource for the community too. But back to the point with the hotels is just to get them the information that they could be handing out for us. They're our best commercial, right?
Absolutely.
So if
Absolutely.
they don't have the knowledge, again, it's with that communication. If they don't know something and it hasn't been communicated to them, they're tired. They just want to maybe come in and clean the room and get out. But if it's one more a little teeny tiny step in putting that brochure out there, and that can make someone else's stay just a little bit cooler and a little bit, it reaches out further than just their hotel room. And then they might even know where to go for, if they want to stay in their room. Hey, here's who offers delivery. Here's who
Yeah.
offers carry out. Here's, if you want to go and expand your horizons a little bit, here's these awesome trails we have to walk. If you're
Oh,
here for more than a day or two and you want to expand your reach, here's another place to go. So it's all about that communicating and knowing your product, I guess,
mhm.
and helping those that don't to get that resource in their hands, that maybe they don't have to memorize the phone number for the fort, but they can give them that brochure,
Right.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we're so fortunate to have you leading the way, being the face of our town.
Oh, don't say the face. That's scary as all get out. Nobody wants me as the face. I will
That's
be
true.
I will be the hand guiding. I don't want to be the face.
Okay,
Okay.
the
Please.
hand guiding, the hand you're extended at the borders of Perrysburg to grab a visitor to bring them in and show them the cool things that we have to offer. We're very fortunate to have you. How about that?
Yeah, that is that. Yeah, I don't want to be a face. Nobody wants to see that. Look at what you're looking at right now, right? I
Stop.
mean, there's reasons why I am not on camera today, but there is something too to be said. I God gave me this insane energy,
Love
and
it.
more days than others. My husband just wants to, are you kidding me? When I wake up this way, and this is without caffeine.
Oh, it's
So,
infectious.
for the city and the community to be able to take advantage of some of that and put this energy that I have into good work, I think it's good for everybody. It keeps me out of trouble with my spouse. And it hopefully will help build a stronger community for everyone in Perrysburg.
It's good for everybody. Christine Best, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. The new Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director. And go to visitperrysburg.com. You can volunteer to help and look for some new exciting stuff coming in this year and the next couple of years as well. Christine, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Appreciate it.
Always good to talk to you, and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, hey, are you doing anything special?
Doubt it. This is our 29th Valentine's Day
Oh,
together.
right.
Maybe we'll see what's new on Netflix. I mean, there might be a new episode of something. The Gilded Age might be new on HBO tonight. Maybe we'll watch that.
Colleen and I just started watching The Tinder Swindler this weekend. We watched it the first 20 minutes. Have you heard of it?
No, but I'm going to have to look now.
Have to. It's the hottest. Look, it's the hottest thing. You're getting in a little early, but people are already talking about it. In the next month, people are going to be. That's all you're going to hear about is The Tinder Swindler.
Where's it on? What streaming service?
On Netflix.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that. Jeez. And I'm one of those people. I'm not going to just watch it. And then be done after an episode. And I cannot stand when they only give me one episode. I was so mad at Mandalorian because I had to wait another week, but I grew up where you had to wait another week to see the next episode.
That's where we came from. We came from. I think this is just the cool thing is I hope, because we don't have a lot of time, I hope it's just a one documentary. It's a one episode, I'm thinking a couple hours maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, I will check it out, and I will report back to you. How about that?
Tinder Swindler. All right. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Christine Best. Thank you for checking out the Perrysburg Pulse podcast, produced by Broadcast Hippo. See you guys next time.